I am very, very sad for a couple of reasons. Number one, I am very sad over this intense feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Very sad about that. Now, I learned many years ago that when you are in an argument with someone, to keep the temperature down, because you may say something exactly that you may say something that you'll never be able to take back. And once it is said, it can never be unsaid. And here are two men, successful businessmen. Now, you have Elon Musk, who's absolutely brilliant. Now, here is what I've always believed about geniuses, okay? There are many people, there's, okay, a genius, an absolute genius, can have the worst communication or social skills, as is evident on election day, I think it was, when Elon Musk was trying to say, from my heart, I love all of you, which the left looked at it and said that's a Nazi salute. Okay, they don't understand. They, for some reason, the left doesn't understand that Elon Musk, as a genius, may be a very bad communicator, or may have trouble communicating, or may have a stutter, which I think he does. Okay, because when you have a disability like eyesight or hearing or whatever, then all the other senses become stronger. You know, if you are blind, you know, your hearing is intensified. If you're deaf, your vision is intensified, whatever the case may be. Whenever you have a deficiency in one area, everything else becomes stronger. And here you have a man, Elon Musk, or any autistic person, okay, who, someone severely autistic, I'm mildly autistic, you know, I'm on the mild scope of autism, but there's some autistic people who may be terrible communicators, awful communicators. Their ability to communicate is very, very bad, but they are absolute geniuses, and they can see things that many others are not able to see. Now, Elon Musk is such a person. Now, his ability to rationalize and communicate and you know, that may be, you know, not so great. You know, his son X is probably going to is already a genius. Okay, so being a genius does not necessarily mean that your social skills are also as excellent, or communication skills are as excellent, because they're not. They can't be, because all the energy and focus is on the genius. So everything else is diminished. Okay. So I wanted to set that up so you can understand where I'm coming from with this, okay? Because he did not like, I guess he did not like the removal of the EV mandate in the bill. Now, they could have talked about it, but because I guess he has a big ego and Trump, to some degree, has a big ego. We have two alpha males, okay? I mean, really on the top alpha males. And when two alpha males clash, it's a disaster, okay? And you could say things that you may regret later and not be able to take back. And I think Elon Musk did such of that. Being may have less than ideal social skills and less than ideal communication skills. You know, he did not think before he spoke, as many of us do. Okay. And I am sad that this rift is not good for the country. It's not good for the country. Now, when Elon Musk announced he was leaving Doge and he was leaving the administration and he was leaving the White House and everything else and going back to his business, uh, I originally thought it was because of all of the bombing of the Teslas and his stock, and he's worried about his business, which any businessman would. So I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for that. But then, immediately after him leaving Doge in the White House, we learn of this big fight. Hmm. I'm thinking the him not liking what's in the bill that started the rift occurred, and then he said, "Okay, I'm leaving." And then all of a sudden, the reason I think he's leaving is because of him not liking what's in the bill and we having this rift. Maybe he did not want all this, open to the public, and he said, "I'm just gonna leave and go back to Tesla," and then that was gonna be that. But I really think the two are related. I may be wrong, but that's my considered opinion that him leaving Doge and the White House is the reason, or is the result of him not liking what's in the bill and the rift that now exists. You know, because the timing is too perfect. The timing is too coincidental that he leaves Doge, he leaves the White House, and he doesn't like what's in the bill, and he has this fight with Trump. Too coincidental. The timing is too perfect. Exactly. um, that's the first thing that I'm sad about. I'm also sad about what's going on in Los Angeles. And it looks like it's going to be 2020 all over again, just in a different city. The actions are very similar, if not exact. If you remember, I uploaded all those images of all the mostly peaceful protests, which are not protests, or I should say, not a constitutionally allowed protest. I think that's not the best way to say it, but the point I'm making is, according to the Constitution, you have a right to peacefully protest. And this is where they're getting away with it by calling them mostly peaceful. Okay? That's how they're trying to get away with having these protests and calling them protected under the Constitution. But we're not stupid. We're not stupid. We see the violence. We see the attacking of attacking the police and attacking ICE and the burning of cars, the graffiti. That's violence. Okay, that's arson by setting these cars and the flag and setting them on fire. That is identified as arson. Okay, arson is a crime, so it's not protected under the Constitution. It's not. Crimes are not protected under the Constitution. And setting the flag on fire, setting cars on fire, that's arson. Arson is a crime, and therefore crimes are not protected under the Constitution. So here we have another situation, another 2020, and you know it's very very sad. And what they're them calling ICE as Gestapo, or fascist, and Trump's order dispatching the Coast Guard or the Marines or whatever the case may be as that of a, or actions of a dictator. You know, I think of Hitler. I think of uh, China, Fidel Castro, or any of those other Saddam Hussein, um, the Syrian, you know, where they killed their own people. You know, it's at Hamas who kills their own people. Those are dictators. Those are tyrants. Trump has not killed a single American, not one. He has never ordered to kill his own people. And he is law and order, something that the last administration um, completely ignored. And with 8 years of Obama and then the third term of Obama, you know, these young people or these people on the left, and with the cities that where uh, soft on crime, you know, it's it's why we're all afraid to walk the street. Why, you know, it's so much violence and so much the murders, the rapes. the sexual assaults on children, and especially this Maryland man, poster child of Brego Garcia, who also dealt with kiddie porn. Now, let me ask you this. If it was an American who dealt with kiddie porn, an American who raped and so forth, would the sentiments be the same as for Obrega Garcia, whatever the hell his name is? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I remember for a long time when they find someone kiddie porn, oh boy, you know. But the thing is, these are very bad people that ICE is ordered to carry out. They have orders for deportation, and they are there to do their job. And it is so sad that with the promise of the golden age in America, and you have to deal with the likes of the left, creating another 2020 scenario in Los Angeles for the demonization of ICE. I saw a spray paint said "Death to ICE." Okay, you want to kill ICE? You will have cold-blooded murder on your hands. Is that what you meant? How many? I remember what was it some years ago when a border patrol was shot. And back then, I really didn't know border patrol. I didn't understand all that going on with the southern border and everything. But boy, I know it now. And when I think back of the death of that uh, border patrol agent, and I remember all those illegal aliens who were throwing bricks and bottles at the border patrol agents, and for 4 years they weren't allowed to do their job, and the police weren't allowed to do their job. And now they're allowed to do their job, and the enrollments are going up, and more people are jumping up to go on the force because now they're allowed to do their job. And who's not allowing them to do their job? These useful idiots. They're not protesting. They are violent agitators, and that's what they are. And what are you protesting? That's the thing I don't understand. Are you protesting against removing these violent people from your community? That's what you're protesting? I mean, you have to not be all there to think that, oh, yes, I would love to have a child rapist and a rapist and a child molester and kiddie porn. Oh, I would love having that in my community. I love having my children be scared to walk the street. Yes, we want that. No, no, don't remove these people. I would love all my neighbors to live in fear because I love living in fear for my life. Nothing up there. Because that is basically what ICE is doing, removing the worst of the worst. He campaigned on that. Trump campaigned on that over and over and over again. This should not be a surprise. It's like, oh my God, he's being a dictator. And oh my God, we got ICE here getting rid of violent criminals. Oh my God. We didn't expect this. This has been his promise all throughout the campaign. So this really shouldn't be a surprise. But to these useful idiots who have no education, can't read or write, don't know anything except how to talk, and it's like nothing upstairs. Yeah, nothing upstairs. You know. So anyway, I'm just very, very sad, and I hope things can get better. I mean, we just started the new administration, and isn't it something that during the end of his first administration and at the beginning of his new administration, we got violent agitators. So, in my opinion, there's no way to go. There's nowhere to go except going up, getting better. Because this is now the worst. And burning the American flag, whoever said that, I mean, if you don't like the country you're in, then leave. If you're burning the American flag, then obviously you don't like it here, then leave. Go to another country where you'd be happy. Would you be happier in Mexico? Where do you want to live? Obviously, you don't want to live here because you're burning the American flag. So obviously, you don't want to live in America. So leave. Why torture yourself? I don't understand that. Hell, if I didn't like where I was living, I'd leave. I didn't like New York anymore, so I left. You know, I don't like a place, I leave. I don't like an apartment or a neighborhood, I leave. I've seen this a lot on Judge Judy. It's like, you don't like your landlord, you don't like the conditions you're living, then leave. So if you don't like this country, then leave, go to another country. What is so complicated about that? You know, I tell you, these people just have no brains. They got the brains of a billy goat. All right. Anyways, that's all I got to say for now. And making me feel a little active around here. So I'll hang it up and say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.